You are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do. But what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a buddy. Come on, Peter Tingle. Here we go.
What's up? What's up?
What up? Cameo, what's up?
Not much. Bradarino.
Bradarino.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I don't like it. I'm not going to ever use it again, but...
Okay, please don't.
It makes me feel good that you love me enough to give me a nickname.
Yeah.
Most people, they, what's shorter for Brad, like there's nothing...
Bruh.
Yeah, I guess.
Bruh.
My niece...
Burr.
My niece, who's like a really young, she's not, yet talking in complete sentences yet. She calls me Buh.
Hey, yo, B, what's up?
Yeah, she don't say that.
No, not yet.
It's funny because, like, whenever anybody calls me B-Rad, I kind of look at them funny. I'm like, okay, either you knew me when I was in radio, or you knew me from back in the Choctaw days. Because I don't, really prefer or I would never say, yo, my name's B-Rad. Like, you know what I mean? Because that was my nickname on the Drew and Casey, or the Phil, Drew, and Casey 2 show.
Yeah.
Afternoons on Kiss FM back in the day. And I was their stunt boy, so I did all their goofy stuff. And, I did not.
Yeah, I thought maybe because you looked like what was his name, Jamie Kennedy.
No, see, that's also one of the reasons why I didn't want to use that name was because, so like back in the day, okay, like I got into radio in 2003, but before then I, was growing up and living around Choctaw, Oklahoma. My good buddy Greg Coker. He was the first to ever call me B-Rad because he had a friend named Jared that he called J-Rod. And this is before there was a J-Rod on the radio as well here in Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
So he would call him J-Rod, and then just, it naturally fit that he would end up calling me B-Rad instead of Brad. So, and that was fine. I liked it. I was young. I didn't care. Then I went to broadcasting school, and I took some of my friends from broadcasting school over to a party with my friends from Choctaw. They heard him calling me B-Rad, and so it followed me. Well, those friends that were at the broadcasting school, one of them got me a job up at the radio station that you worked at. That we worked at together, actually.
Yeah.
And so then she was calling me B-Rad, and so it kind of caught on over there at the radio station, and it was good for the stunt boy name. But when I got my job on the Cat, and I was like, I want to be like a cool rock and roll guy. I didn't want to be B-Rad, and I also that movie with Jamie Kennedy, Malibu's Most Wanted, had come out. And so everybody was like, is that where you got your name for Malibu's? I was like, no, that would be lame. That would be so lame. Why would I?
I was the first B-Rad.
Yeah, like why would I want to use the name of a guy who's like a lame white rapper dude? Like that would be
exactly.
But not the lamest of all the radio names, but it was pretty lame.
Yeah.
All right, Cameo. So now that we've established who's who and what names we're currently going by, we'll start the show. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Well, we've got some recommendations like we normally do in our Nerdflix and Chill. We have a review, but our review we did a little different. And We'll tell everybody what we're reviewing here in just a little bit. How about that? We'll save it for a minute. We'll keep them in suspense.
Right.
But guess what? We got nerd updates.
Boop, 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 boop. Nerd updates.
I did find us a song. I don't know if you listened to the show last week, Cameo, but we have this sweet new Nerd Update song going.
No, I have not yet. I have not listened to it yet.
Well,
and the sad thing is I've been playing Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
The new DC game. And that's practically been taking up my whole time. I think it was Friday. I played starting from like 4 o'clock to like 9 or 10 at night.
Yeah.
And it's been occupying my time. So yeah, haven't gotten to listen to the show just yet.
Cameo. Like when I'm playing my video games, I listen to podcasts.
Well, see, that's you, not me. Because like if I have it on, I'm not going to be listening to it because I'm listening to what they're saying in the video game. So
yeah,
so
this is
just say I don't miss anything.
A wonderful ad that you're giving out to everybody about why they shouldn't listen to our podcast.
Well, if you're playing video games, then I'm pretty sure you're probably stuck on that. But our podcast is so informative, entertaining, that you want to make sure that you aren't doing anything else other than watching or listening to the podcast.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person though, like when I'm doing, like if I'm working or I always have to have something else going on. Like, I don't know. I'm not fully paying attention to any one thing. I know that, but
make sure you're paying attention every week by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell on YouTube. All right.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah. And here in a little bit before we, when we do our reviews, I'll read the comment from the last show. How about that?
Okay.
Because we told people if they leave comments or reviews that we would read them. So, yeah. All right, let's do some nerd updates, Cameo.
All righty.
Got a rumor here for the first one, a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
It is rumored that in the new Fantastic Four movie, there will not be Doctor Doom. He will not be showing up as the villain. And to me, that makes me about 45% less interested right off the bat.
I think Doctor Doom is going to be somebody that is going to need not really a standalone movie, but he needs to be in like several different movies. Because he's, pretty gone through the whole MCU, or I should say Marvel, heroes.
Yeah.
So, it seems like he's been, the people are saying that Doctor Doom is going to be like mentioned in the new Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie. I don't know how true that is. But I think that's going to be like his soft
introduction.
Yeah. Soft introduction. Yeah.
I don't like soft. I want it hard. I don't know. Like, it might be my own ignorance when it comes to Fantastic Four. I've read a little bit, but I can't tell you hardly any of the villains. But I know I love Doctor Doom, right? And then the thing is I feel like that's the biggest knock to me on the Marvel universe, the MCU anyway, is the villains. Like occasionally they'll have like a really good villain, but it's like they're dead and gone by the end of the movie or whatever. Or, and then we've got Kang, who's going from Loki to the new Ant-Man movie. So, okay, maybe they're trying to fix, because, you got a bunch of good guys. Yeah, that's great. They've been in every movie, but why can't we have some of the villains be just as popular? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just, and we've talked about that before. Like, that is like kind of something I don't like about a lot of them. Like Ewan McGregor in Birds of Prey. He would have been great if he had popped up in a few different movies. But unless they do some, maybe bringing back, the Flash brings him back somehow or whatever. I don't know. He's never coming back probably to the DC universe now. And I feel like that's squandering some talent there because don't just kill him at the end, you know. Again, Killmonger, another one. Would have been dope to see him in a few movies.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in a lot more stuff going forward, though.
They need to,
especially with the What If series. I think we're going to see some of those people that have died off, and I feel like the ones that want to come back will come back. I think the ones that, like Hugo Weaving, for instance, I heard that he signed on for a few movies, but was kind of regretting it. I don't know how true that is. It was on the internet. I don't know.
Who was Hugo Weaving?
He played Red Skull.
Oh, yeah.
Great actor. Would love to see him come back as Red Skull, but if what I read is true, he had a horrible time with the movie and didn't want to come back to do it, do any other movies, even though he signed on for like 3 or 4 movies. So, you know, I'm hoping that some of those characters that have, was ended in one of the, movies, they end up coming back as in some form or fashion.
Yeah. But for me, the, what ifs, that doesn't cut it for me. That's just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying because of how they did it and brought, oh my goodness, Captain America's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Agent Carter?
Peggy.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter. Yeah. You know how they brought her into the Illuminati for, oh my goodness, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So like, I think that, we can see stuff like that coming, going forward.
Right. But then you got like Christian Bale in Thor. And again, one movie, which might, that might be how they get some of these big actors. But I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is a big actor. They've got big actors as the heroes. I just don't, I don't see why they're afraid to like really spread these villains out and use them more often. Maybe I'm wrong here, but
no, I totally agree because it would have been so cool to see like a Sinister Six in the Tobey Maguire era of Spider-Man. But again, they were just being 86th at the end of each movie. So it was just kind of like, well, this is not cool. If they were trying to do something bigger, obviously that wouldn't have worked unless, they're like, oh yeah, nobody ever really dies in comic books. So yeah, whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. Don't, especially the ones that, you've grown to love, even though they're villains. Like Killmonger was probably one of the best villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
So it's just like kind of sucks because now we don't get that.
Right.
Now.
Right. Yeah. They should have some longer term planning, in my opinion, on that end of it, and bring Dr. Doom into the next freaking movie. Okay. Cause it's not like I can understand when you've got Batman and you want to bring Joker in later on because every Batman movie's had Joker in it. Dr. Doom isn't the same way because we don't have a ton of good ones anyway. Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Did he show up in any of the other movies? I don't think he did, right?
Yeah. Dr. Doom?
Yeah.
He was just in the first one. The first Fantastic Four movie, and then he was in the remake.
So he was in both of those.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't remember those movies though. Like I haven't seen them in a long time.
The remake was kind of blah. I wouldn't say kind of. It was bad. Which is on Disney Plus, by the way, if you want to watch it. And so was the original movies. So
okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong here because maybe people are like, well, he was in those 2 movies, so but not the MCU though.
I feel like I feel like Marvel has a long-term plan for Doctor Doom. I think he might be mentioned. He probably won't be the big baddie in Fantastic Four, because what I'm thinking, because I believe Mole Man was the first Fantastic Four villain, the ones that they fought. Mm-hmm. I believe the MCU is going to put him first. I think Doctor Doom is going to be in that movie, but I don't think that he'll be the main focal point. I don't think he'll be the one that they're fighting.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's mutants in the MCU now, so I'm not,
right,
not really sure what's going on. And, obviously Doctor Doom is in the MCU, but we don't know what he's actually doing right now. So, again, like I said, Doctor Doom is supposedly supposed to have a soft introduction in Wakanda Forever, which comes out next weekend, the 11th. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I agree with you. If he's going to be the baddie, then he needs to be in the movies, at least mentioned several different times before.
I agree.
He's ousted.
Yeah. Don't oust him. Mm-hmm. Vision Quest is being developed by Disney Plus, so it'll be White Vision, I guess. The one we got at the end of the one with WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I would like to see that. What about you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paul Bettany returning. Yeah. I would definitely love to see that. I'm down.
So that's that's in the works. All right. There was some big news last week. We had discussed James Gunn a little bit last week in our nerd update because he was announced for a mystery project. It hasn't necessarily been announced what that mystery project will be, but apparently now we can figure that James Gunn can do anything he wants. He was named by WB and Discovery as co-chairman and CEO of DC Studios. Yeah, there he is. Along with Peter, I believe Safran.
Yeah, I think it's Safran.
Safran, who was the producer on Aquaman and Shazam. So he's probably co-chairman, duties while James Gunn's making movies and stuff. Here's what I think is very interesting about this. James Gunn, could you imagine? I'm not sure that this would ever happen before or again. He is the head of DC Studios for WB at this very moment. And in just a little while, he's going to be promoting Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and the Christmas special. So, is he going to be out there don't watch this. Go ahead and just watch Superman or,
Right.
No, I mean, he's not going to do that. But isn't that an interesting situation that they've got going?
Yeah. And I'm not sure if that is going to have a conflict of interest.
Well, he said that the first person he told was Kevin Feige, and Kevin was like, yeah, that's great. Love it.
Yeah, Kevin Feige. I mean, I don't feel Kevin Feige would be especially outwardly upset with him.
Right.
Everybody has to make their mark. And everybody has to make their own paycheck. James, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige has seen the things that James Gunn has done for the DC people. And, he's like, man, this is it. I feel like Kevin Feige I don't think he's biased towards, Marvel or DC. I think he's an opportunist in a way that, hey, my love is for comic books. If yours is too, great. I want you to, be just as awesome as Marvel is. So, I think that, Kevin Feige is up for that because I think he's, I wouldn't say opportunist.
Well,
I just think that he's fine with it. I don't. Yeah, he don't care.
The MCU's ahead by like 80 points in the third quarter. So he's not. I don't think he's that worried about it.
No.
Well, plus there is enough. I don't know if the correct word would be, but market share out there. Because we're not at any kind of point right now where it's like, oh man, I don't have enough money to go see Black Adam or Wakanda Forever. What should I see? Comic book fans, if they like both, they're gonna go see both. If they only like Marvel, then they're gonna go see Marvel. So it's not like he should be worried in that regard. But I feel like James Gunn is going to make the DCEU much more enjoyable. We talked about Black Adam last week. He didn't have anything to do with that, but we did talk about just kind of the tone of it all compared to everything where it was going with Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse. And I mean, James Gunn stepped in and did the Suicide Squad, and that's one of my favorite DCEU movies of late. So I'm all for it. Now, of course, you got people online that are very hateful about it. And that because they wanted to see Snyder take over and they wanted to have him be in charge of it all. And we kind of, if you want to go back and listen to our conversation last week, I encourage you to do so because we kind of cover a lot of that, why I think Snyder wasn't necessarily, even though I love him, I hope that James Gunn lets him do some more DC movies. And I say but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope that they can revive some of that. Yeah. But it's just like comic books in general. There's room for Snyder movies, and then there's room for all the other movies, like the Black Adams and Shazam. And everybody that's like, Shazam and all that are just stupid kids movies. It makes me mad that they even exist. Why? Like it doesn't, there's room for all that. There's room for all that.
Yeah. So. And again, oh my goodness, I just saw a tweet, and it almost kind of, I think it was Dan Slott. And he said something about, let me find it real quick. But like you said, there's room for everything. And why not be happy for everything, that's out there? Well, it's like, so real quick. He says, please share what you love, not what you hate.
Yeah. Yes.
So let these people that are putting these movies out are sharing what they love. They even if they don't do a great job at it, or that you think that they didn't do a great job at it, so be it. That's fine. Stop being so hateful that you're making other people like, ooh, second guess themselves. People that were like the Suicide Squad that James Gunn did was like what you said, that they said it was a Marvel movie. First of all, no, it wasn't. Second of all, it was probably at the time one of the best DC movies that came out. I think, what was it? Shazam came out right before that, or not right before, but before that.
Yeah, I believe
movie.
So. Yeah.
And that was a really good movie, a really good DC movie. So step back and, let these people work. Zack Snyder, because Brad, you and I talked about this on the phone. It's like Zack Snyder made a movie for adults. And it wasn't like, obviously, if you've seen the Zack Snyder films, they're not kid friendly. Now, can kids go and watch them? Of course they can.
Yeah.
But I think that the reason why the movies did so horribly was because it didn't really pander to the younger audience.
It wasn't a family movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It pandered to people like us, older men, older nerds and women. Yeah. And that was good. That was good for us. But also too, we're not taking, most likely not taking our young kids to go see those films. And that's probably why this toys didn't do so well. Just like the Batman. Yeah, I walk down the toy aisle all the time and I see bukus of the Batman action figures up there, bukus of them. And was the Batman pandered towards children? No, they were not.
No.
The only reason why people would probably buy those toys is because, oh, it's Batman. I want a Batman action figure.
Yeah.
But it's people like our age that collect action figures. I don't think any of the younger kids are gonna be like, I don't know who this Batman is. This isn't the Batman I like. I like the Batman that has a talking car. So, it's which is a new cartoon, by the way. I don't know. It's like called I can't remember, but it's on HBO Max right now.
Oh, really?
But
the Knight Rider?
Yeah. Kind of, but not really. But it's like
the Dark Knight Rider.
Sounds bad. But it has the Batmobile talks, the Batwing airplane talks. Yeah, it's very, very kiddish.
Did you ever watch Knight Rider when you were little?
I loved it.
Oh yeah,
man, I wanted a kit so bad.
Oh my god,
dude.
Yeah. Okay, just didn't know if that one was a little too ahead of your time or not.
No, I mean it was, but I think it came on like Nick at Night or some channel. But anytime that I was over at my grandma's house, man, love me some Knight Rider, dude.
I can hear the theme song in my head right now.
Dude, did you ever watch the remake?
No.
The remake was horrible.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool because the kit was I think like a whatever year it was one of the newer Mustang models, but it was pretty dope. The car was.
I don't know why I can't set up my car right now to have like a kit talk to me like that. Why don't they have that?
They're probably doing the Teslas.
Yeah, I'm not driving a Tesla. I wanted to kind of go over a couple things with you before we wrap up our nerd update here on James Gunn, but some of the movies that he has been involved with. Back in the day, he was in the like Tromeo and Juliet. He was a writer on that and an associate director, and he was in with that Troma Films, which is what got him in trouble a while back because they were like edgelords on the internets, and like they would post like all this stuff that it's awful. If you read it, you're like, oh my gosh. And of course, I'm sure he's even probably like, oh, why did I do that? And why after the pandemic do I look like Johnny Knoxville? But that's yeah, no. And so, but honestly, I guess that kind of worked out really good for him because Disney had fired him from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. DC picked him up to do Suicide Squad. Then Marvel was like, oh, well, you got to come back. And now he's the head of DC. So, but in 2002, he wrote Scooby-Doo. And he also wrote the sequel for Scooby-Doo, which when that first came out and it was like a live action, because I grew up on Scooby-Doo, of course, I wasn't all that interested in it. Then I found out recently that James Gunn had wrote it, and I watched it, and it wasn't too bad. He was a writer on the Dawn of the Dead movie that Zack Snyder did, which is another reason why I could see them still continuing to maybe collaborate.
I think they will.
This is one of my favorite movies. He wrote and directed Slither in 2006.
I remember that one.
A horror movie. You see all of the people that he works with in that movie. Such a good, that was like a kind of a horror comedy, body horror type movie. It was really good. He did Super.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, wasn't that with the guy Dwight?
Yep.
Yeah. Then of course he did the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Suicide Squad, and he was a producer on Brightburn. I thought he had
Brightburn.
That was the evil Superman kid.
Oh yeah.
So you know, he's done a lot of great stuff that I'm a big fan of James Gunn. And I hope, I do hope that like all the things that people are throwing at him, the accusations that from the people that just don't like James Gunn because of whatever, because he came from Marvel. I hope that that's all not true. I'd be surprised to hear that it was true. I feel like it was just bad taste, you know? So I think he'll do good. I think he'll do good.
Yeah, I think he'll do great. And, you know, give the man a chance. I know you had mentioned to me that people didn't really care for the Suicide Squad. But, you know, DC lovers, some of the people that I've talked to said that they loved it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know it's going to be a mixed crowd everywhere. I know some of the Marvel movies are not always a hit with Marvel fans. But again, you know, everything... Just let them be. Just let them do what they're paid to do. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And just go back to reading the comics.
Now, Joker, the sequel, that's going to be like a musical. It's not a part of DC Studios, so he won't have anything to do with that. And
okay.
I'm wondering what they're going to do with the Batman going forward, if that's going to be under his umbrella or what, because I hope that they do. I mean, like I said, I feel like they can still keep the DCEU going, and then they can have like this, you know, like I think they call some of the more grittier, darker Batman comics the Black Label or whatever. They could do stuff like that, you know. Just real quick. Shazam! Fury of the Gods coming out March 17th, 2023. The Flash, June 23rd, 2023. Blue Beetle, August 18th, 2023. And Aquaman and the Last... is that the Lost Kingdom?
Dang, 4 DC movies next year.
That's Christmas of next year. So after that, we're going to get to see what James Gunn's got going on. So... Don't man.
Man,
you don't have to
year.
necessarily put on your brown pants just yet.
But next year, man, it's going to be a comic book movie year, because I think there's 3 or 4 movies, Marvel movies, coming out next year as well. And man, that's what darn near 2/3 of the year, you know, we're going to have, you know, superhero films. So that's cool.
That is cool.
I'm happy.
All right, that wraps up our nerd updates.